Let's venture off into the Client 360 section within Artemis. Our Client 360 section is specifically the client icon that is third from the bottom on your primary homepage. I'm going to click on Clients, to which I will see, depending on your organizational permission, my primary caseload, or as well as any of the clients within my organization. Here, all of the predominant client information can be housed, everything from insurance information, medical information, everything also, as well as anything that we want plan-wise, will all be housed here. So what I would like to do is bring up my specific client, and in this case, his name is Jonathan. So as we can see here, Jonathan is an active client getting ABA therapy, predominantly speaking English. It provides me with his contact information, as well as address and date of birth right here at the onset. I will go ahead and click on Jonathan so that I can drill down into all of the specific information regarding this particular client. As you can see here in the upper left-hand corner, I'm able to modify and upload a picture of Jonathan if I would like. There's also an icon here in which if I want to hide his PHI or enable his PHI, I can go ahead and do so. And then as you can see here, all of his demographic information is listed within this box. I will be going across all of the different tabs that we see here within Client 360, which is all of the information related to this one particular client. So within the dashboard, it shows me what upcoming appointments I have for this particular client. Based off of organizational settings, it may show me whether or not the family has an outstanding balance. It will also show me the various sessions that I have scheduled, or if there's any that are incomplete that I need to complete so that they can go to claims and be billed. As I scroll down, I will also find authorization information right here up front and center regarding when the authorization is good until, as well as days remaining on the authorization. And then it lists active insurance, as well as if they have eligibility and when their insurance when they're eligible for new insurance, or if their current insurance expires. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, we also are able to put a list of approved providers to work with this particular client. So this is the primary client dashboard. Now we're going to go ahead to the right and look at the client details for this particular test client. Here is going to be some of our demographic information regarding this particular client, as far as his first name, last name, if he's an active client or not. We can also place different nomenclatures as far as where he might be in the process. Is he pending an initial assessment? Is he an intake? Is he a waitlist client? We can also note if they have religious preferences, if there's any special needs or preferred hours in which they'd like to be served. Then we have their primary service address, as well as primary contact information, in which we can also put family names and any emergency contacts. Here in the medical section, we're able to note their specific codes, diagnostic codes, and what type of therapy they're approved for, as well as any additional information that we'd like to add will be located at the bottom. If anything is modified here, and again, depending on your organizational permissions, you can save or close. I'm going to scroll back up and move over to the next tab within Client 360, which are my activity logs. Activity logs are going to be any sort of documentation or permanent product in which you would like to note regarding this client. So here as an example, I am able to add a particular note, and I'm able to classify what type of activity I would like to place this under. If this is an authorization, and we just finished a clinical call, I'm able to put authorization details listed out here as I see fit, and just hit save. And it will be populated as well as timestamped and who modified it. And again, depending on organizational permissions, you would be able to manipulate these activity logs. Moving over to the next tab, which is our service address. This service address will be the primary service address in which the client will receive services. You can add as many as you would like into this particular tab. We will go over to the right in overall client history. This is a snapshot of anything that you would like to list regarding the client's particular medical, educational, or developmental history, anything that you'd like to note as far as their overall background, something that you can see essentially at a glance. So as an example, I put here that the client has no known allergies. I put in here that they have educational, or I should say when they're in school, they go to school all day and half days on particular days. I have also listed that they engage in aggression and self-injury, and then also noted the name of his speech pathologist so that I can quickly, again, get a hold of her if needed. So the purpose of the client history is not necessarily what we would find exactly in the initial assessment, but rather just an abridged view, something that we can see relatively quickly and expeditiously when working with this client, especially if a BCBA is getting on this client's case for the first time. Moving over to the right, we have another way in which we're able to get to the client's appointment section. So you will see that you can make a client appointment in two ways. You can go to Clients 360, find your client, and then click on Appointments and New Appointment to create a brand new appointment, or you can also use it through the scheduling icon. So however you choose always takes you to the same path. But this particular tab shows me how many appointments or upcoming appointments I have with this particular client. Moving over to the next side, I have my overall treatment. This is, of course, where all of the client's programmatic skills are being housed. And I will go through that in a separate video. But this is where we will always make any sort of updates to programs will always be in the treatment session of Client 360. Moving over to the right, we have our overall sessions that are listed for this particular client. It notes to me how many how many scheduled sessions this particular client has, if there's any sessions that are in progress or incompleted sessions. So this essentially gives me, again, a snapshot as far as if I have respective session notes and signatures so that I can submit all of my sessions in preparation for billing. To the next tab, I have a snapshot view regarding insurances. This is, of course, where your respective insurance and authorizations team will put in any respective information regarding insurance, if there's active insurance or inactive insurance. All of that will be housed here. There is a billing section. And again, depending on your organizational permissions, you would have access to view which clients are ready to be submitted, which claims have been submitted, if there's any that have been rejected or denied. Moving over to the right, we are able to note within provider preferences some specific providers that we would like to work with this particular client. It could be based off of skill set, or it could be based off of insurance. But provider preferences is most certainly an area in which you are able to advocate for a new provider to be listed and identified here based off also funding source if they're able to work with a particular client. And again, this is something that can be found in Client 360 very quickly at a glance for whomever is working with this client. In our next tab over, we have a section where we can get specific medical information if we would like. If we so need to add any medical records regarding this client, we can most certainly add it. Anything from height and weight and medications that they're currently on, we can add that to the medical records. I do want to highlight in the document section, this is where we're able to upload all of the client's information. This could be their ABA referral, it could be their diagnostic evaluation, it could be a prior assessment completed by a different provider, anything that we would like that's an external document that we always want to house within the client's records would be found here in documents. And the great thing about this is that we do not have to download every single we don't have to download every single document that's listed, but rather we can essentially show it through a preview. And then as we continue to move on, we have more in-depth as far as client reports that we're able to pull. We're able to note the client's availability for sessions, and we continue to have a care portal thereafter.